As you may know, Raymond and I co-led our first photography tour earlier this year with Dr. Jose Francisco Salgado. We went to Yellowknife, Canada with a group of viewers to photograph the Aurora Borealis, or Northern Lights. During this trip, we photographed the Northern Lights a lot. But we also went on a few daytime adventures, and we hung out in the business center of the hotel just about every day, discussing photography, gear, editing, and life. I have met some of you viewers in the wilds of real life, but this is the first time I've actually been able to sit down and have real conversations with some of you that, well, I've been conversing with online for years. So I have shared a couple of videos showcasing some of our nighttime results from the trip already, those beautiful lights. But today I am releasing the book that I created from Raymond's and my photos from the trip, both nighttime lights and also daytime, because Yellowknife is an amazing place to visit. There are two versions of this book, a real live book and an ebook. I'll explain how to get your hands on either of these at the end of this video. In the meantime, though, I will share some of my thoughts on the trip and on Yellowknife. Yellowknife is way up north in Canada. It is the capital of the Northwest Territories, and it is just shy of the Arctic Circle. You can imagine that it was cold, even in September when we were there. We all had to bundle up even during our daytime wanderings. But as it was autumn, the leaves were changing color and we even got some rain. I thoroughly enjoyed it all. It was unreal. I could have spent a lot longer in Yellowknife, certainly for more nighttime Northern Lights viewing, but also simply exploring during the daytime. The town itself is small and unique, but the surrounding forest and lakes are a delight. In fact, in my book, you will see nearly as many daytime photos as you will see photos of the lights. I mean, the book includes over 50 images, so there are plenty of Aurora photos, but I wanted to share the entirety of this trip and this place. I definitely fell in love with it. I've had a lot of folks ask me what it was like when I first saw the Northern Lights. It's on a lot of people's bucket lists, right? So here's the story. The first night we arrived, we had been traveling all day, and we're standing around in the hotel lobby just kind of saying hello, and everyone is meeting in person for the first time. And Jose Francisco says, so casually, "So the lights are out right now. Do you want to go out?" I mean, who would say no, right? So we all scramble back to our rooms to grab our gear and we head out. And we drive just a little ways to a local park because you can see the lights from in town. You don't even have to travel far. So we get out of the van and we look up. And there were ribbons of milky light just kind of elegantly rolling and moving. And for some reason I was surprised. It wasn't the bright green that I had seen in photos. And I don't know why I expected it to be. But then I took my first shot and reviewed it. And there it was, the bright green. As the nights of the trip went on, we saw more lights. We all learned from Dr. Salgado that you can play with camera settings to completely change how the aurora looks in those seconds that you are capturing the image, and how you have to adapt to the aurora's whims in that moment. It can be gently moving like it was on the first night, or it can be zooming around, changing every moment. There was one night where it was all around us. Dr. Salgado shouted, "It's happening!" And it did. It happened. And we got lucky like that most nights. There were a couple of nights when the clouds came in, so we didn't really get a good view of the lights. It's torturous to see the clouds light up green and know that the aurora is up there giving us a show that we simply can't see. But by the last night, when we had been seeing these lights move and change for hours, all of us photographers were spread out on the shoreline in our own little pockets of space, and I just laid back on the cold rocks with the still water beside me, and I just watched that light show as my interval timer clicked away. It was the perfect way to say goodbye to Yellowknife. The trip would have been unbelievable on its own, but the fact that I was able to share it with like-minded friends made it a once-in-a-lifetime experience. But enough about my feelings. Gross, right? I mentioned settings. And for those of you that love your information on gear and settings, I shared camera, lens, and settings for just about every photo in the book. Sometimes I included a little story about the photo, and there are QR codes in the corner of some of the pages. Those each lead you to a different video that either brings the photo alive through time lapse, or I share video or extra photos captured at the same location. It's also that you can get that feel of Yellowknife. Now, how to get your hands on the book. You can purchase the ebook to download, or my members always get a free download code for my books as I publish them. So I will include a link in the description of this video to my site where you can purchase the book, and also a link to learn more about channel membership. Current members, there will be links in the description for you as well. Now, if you want the real live book signed by yours truly, you need to be a Grand Canyon patron on Patreon. Grand Canyon patrons receive something real from me each month, a signed print or book, and I'll include a link to that in the description as well. Current Grand Canyon patrons already have the book. If you don't, make sure you check your mailbox. But if you sign up to be a Grand Canyon patron in December or January, it will be yours. And while I'm at it, I will link to Dr. Jose Francisco Salgado and his Aurora tours in the description. I cannot say enough good things about him. If I were to go back to see the Northern Lights again, and I might, I wouldn't consider anyone else. He is not only an expert in the field of astronomy, so he teaches you all about the Aurora Borealis, but he's also a photographer, so he can guide you in terms of getting the shots you want. And he has a passion for it that is just infectious. And that's all I have to say today. If you've seen the Northern Lights, I would love to see your photos. Comment with a link to them below and tell me what you thought the first time you saw them. And last, I will be announcing our next tour in a few weeks, so make sure that you are subscribed and click the bell if you want to be notified when I upload new videos. And thank you for watching.